Well, the big thing that got me lifting was my self-esteem was real low. So I hid behind that big body. So I was 175 pounds before I became that 300-pound guy. And the reason why I became big was to hide my real, soft, insecure, fearful of everything self. And being a large individual, it scared people away from the real soft David Goggins inside. So I built this humongous exterior to keep away the enemy because my mindset wasn't what it is now. When you know these things about yourself and you know that you're hiding from certain things and you know why you became big. I didn't become big for the love of the sport. It wasn't like, I just want to be some jacked up cat, man, walk around, eat 10,000 calories a day, bring around my, 8 gallons of fucking water to the gym, sit down with my damn smelling salts and just get the after it. I love that part, but it was hiding a lot of shit going on in my life, in my personal life. So that big guy became my armor, became my shield, so people wouldn't pick on me anymore. And they'd be scared because I would, just beat the out of them or just eat them, whatever the fuck first. When I'm sitting there watching that TV show, I was there alone, and it made me think a lot about, you can lie to everybody, but you can't lie to yourself. So it was extremely hard for me to sit there and not feel something. I was afraid of the water, afraid of a lot of different things. And I saw these guys going through that training. I was like, you know what? I have to one day start to face myself. I can no longer hide behind this 300-pound body that I built because the inside that body was a very weak individual that I had to start overcoming, had to start facing. So that's kind of how it all started. I had a list in my head. We all have this list in our head, this magical list of all the shit that we don't want to even do because it scares the crap out of us or it makes us feel like we're not good enough. We all have the list. We all have it. So I had a humongous list of insecurities and crap, being called nigger growing up and my dad beating the hell out of me and having learning disabilities, stuttering, all kind of shit. Growing up, was in the $7 a month place for a long time. I had all kind of crap going through. My soon-to-be stepdad got murdered. I had all kind of just demons that just made me just afraid of everything. And I designed this program myself. When I realized I had this voice, we all had this voice in our head, whether you believe in God or whatever the hell you believe in or don't believe in, whether you believe in yourself. There's always this voice in our head telling us different things. And the voice in my head, it kept on calling me like, you're just a pussy, man. You are a big pussy, man. You're scared of all this shit over here. You're scared of this big laundry list of stuff, man, because your dad beat you and this happened and this happened. All these things that happened in my life, I wasn't facing them. Even though I didn't cause a lot of them, they're mine to own now. And the one thing that I really realized was for me to become a tough guy, and that's what I wanted to be, I saw myself as a very weak man. And for me to be hard and be tough, I had to start going over to that list, that scary list, to start facing that, because I knew over there, I was gonna find a whole new person. Because if I kept on doing the things that made me feel comfortable, I was gonna continue being that same person I always was, the lying, insecure, fearful person living in this nice, comfortable life of mine. So I just designed a very uncomfortable world for David Goggins. And in that world, I found a whole new different David Goggins. That's where I created Goggins. So there's David Goggins and there's Goggins. I created Goggins in that fucking meat eater world over there of mine. And I started with very small goals. Well, I started out real big and I realized that the big goals were just crushing me, because they weren't happening fast enough. And I had to start making big things very small. And I had to take a lot of pride and a lot of satisfaction from the fact that, I had to lose 106 pounds in like less than 3 months.
Wow.
Which was an impossible task for anybody to do. So instead of looking at 106 pounds, man, I was happy to lose a pound. I was happy to run a quarter mile, because you know how it is as a power lifter, man, you're not running anywhere.
Yeah.
You're not, for me, when I was a power lifter, man, I was so crazy about calorie content and losing calories that I hated even walking to the refrigerator. I didn't want to lose any calories because I knew losing calories meant losing strength. So I was a freak about all that stuff, man. So I had to totally flip my mindset about all that stuff and just find very small goals and start achieving them, being proud of myself through those small goals that I accomplished. I'm not speaking for every big guy by any means, but I was once the big man. And I realized a lot of us big guys, man, we got some serious demons. You know, I hung around big guys and we'd all break down and we started talking about our personal lives and how up we all are. And, you know, hey, why did you become big, man? We all had almost a similar story of insecurities. And, you know, walking around in the airport looking like a gargantuan, man, people look at you differently. You get a little more self-esteem. So I'm going to be talking to a few of us out there when I say this, man. The biggest thing in life that you have to do is you have to be proud of yourself. You have to start developing that personal self-esteem. And it has to be something that it's an internal thing. And it has to come from a lot of hard work and dedication. And you really have to, like right now, I see your headphones on your head. I walk around life with so-called headphones on my head, man. I don't, really wear them, obviously, but I just have these earmuffs on that I silence out the noise. I silence out the judgment. I silence out the self-doubt. I silence out all the naysayers. And, those people get in our head, and then we start getting in our head. And the most important conversation we'll ever have is when we have it ourselves. And like you were saying to yourself, man, I'm dumb, I'm this, I'm that. I was the same way. So if that's what you're constantly repeating to yourself in that internal conversation, man, that's who you're going to be. My biggest thing for these people who are out here is, honestly, man, you have to start callousing over that victim's mentality. You have to start building this mental armor that no matter what anybody said, that you can be in a room full of 1 million people and all million can be like against you and calling you names and whatever. And you like this, you know what? Roger that. You can go f yourself, man. 'Cause I know exactly where I'm going. I know exactly what I'm doing. And that's the kind of self-esteem you have to build in yourself, man, in this kind of society today, because it's tough. It's tough out here nowadays. When I was in 6th grade, we had a play, and I used to stutter real bad, man. I mean, like, I couldn't say a word without just going off on my stuttering, man. Whenever I'm in front of people, I tell them that. I literally walked off a stage because I couldn't get the I had one line to say in 6th grade, one line. And I literally walked off stage because I couldn't say the line. So I get in front of these people and I speak for an hour and a half. And I look at them before I start speaking and I say, my God, this is pretty amazing. When I was a young kid, I couldn't even stand in front of 2 people to speak in front of them. And where I'm getting at is I found great power in facing my fears. And by doing that, it gave me such confidence to stand in front of a lot of people, because I now know what a lot of us are going through, so much shit. But I had the guts to face it. I had the guts to tell people how messed up I am, how messed up I was, the struggles I'm going through. Very few people have that in them to do that on a public, platform. And that gives you a lot of confidence. When you finally get to the point when you really mean, I don't give a what you think about me, there's a lot of power in the fact that you can stand up in front of people and look at them, and if you mess up or if you start stuttering, you don't care. And to have that kind of mindset, I'm finally there now through facing myself. So yeah, all those things, I don't fear too much anymore, man. And if I do, I attack it.